Hey, it's Buddy Lee. Welcome to my channel. So I wanted to do a potential new video series where I take a maybe not so good champion and see if I can make them good or at least viable. So for this video, we're going to be doing this with Daredevil Hell's Kitchen. So let's take a quick look at his abilities and then jump into some gameplay. Daredevil's biggest utility is his full immunity to miss at all times. You can see his base regen rate is set to 40%, which they did because he can place a debuff on himself, and Kabam might have been worried about how this would interact with willpower. This makes him impossible to play with damage mastery since he has no way to get rid of those bleed and poison debuffs at the beginning of the fight, and he would have been just fine left at 100% regen rate in my opinion. When he's below 15 hits on the combo meter, Daredevil is in Murdoch Boy mode. In this mode, he'll shrug non-damaging debuffs after half a second, and he gets some physical resistance. At 16 hits and higher, he goes into Styx Apprentice mode, and here he gains critical rating and extra attack for every non-damaging debuff he has. Next is Special 1 attack, and by throwing this, you get a precision buff, but I don't find this special overly useful, and I wish you would get the buff after the special finished. Since the SP1 takes so long, you lose time on that 15-second precision. The SP2 I find more useful, and when throwing the SP2 it removes 5 hits from the combo meter for each hit of the special and causes some bleeds. After the special you place a rage debuff on yourself lasting 12 seconds, and when that expires it turns into a fury buff with a nice attack increase. If you throw it and end up with a combo meter less than 15 hits, then Murdoch Boy will purify it and you don't have to wait the 12 seconds for it to convert. And if you're 16 hits or above, you get the debuff for the 12 seconds, and then you can get some willpower healing off of it before it converts. The SP3 gives a Righteous Wrath passive for 70 seconds, and this gives a 35% chance to deal 100% of the attack as direct bleed damage. So this can boost his damage by a good amount, however I think they would have been fine increasing the chance to more than 35%, and this kinda goes with the common theme of this champion by Kabam, being a bit stingy in the design of him overall. We'll first take him into Realm of Legends without synergies, and then go into Act 7 for a likely place for him to be used in normal content with a full synergy team. Right off the bat he doesn't hit hard at all, but he needs some ramp up to start doing some decent damage, and to start that off I'm going to build up to just shy of 3 bars of power and then use SP2. We're also building up a nice combo meter in the meantime, and we'll use that to activate some cruelty debuffs later on. So I throw the SP2, and since I'm above 16 hits on the combo meter, I get the rage debuff that lasts for 12 seconds, instead of it being purified right away if I was below 15 hits. So I do this so that I can get to SP3 as quickly as possible and then have a fury buff to benefit from when activating Righteous Rage, which remember will give me a 35% chance to do 120% of the damage from the attack as instant bleed damage. Now I parry and land a heavy into the SP3 to activate Cruelty, and it'll boost my damage during the Righteous Wrath a bit more. So this is a pretty long initial ramp up to start doing good damage, and you can see every once in a while I get that red damage from the 35% chance. The fact that this ramp up takes so much time and effort is why I think the chance should really be 100% or close to it. Also, I really think it wouldn't be too much if the Fury and Cruelty buffs were permanent, or at least increase in duration by quite a bit. I've been spamming heavies now, and that is to reduce my combo meter and gain cruelty buffs, because this time I want to throw my SP2 and be under 15 on the combo meter to purify the rage debuff right away and use the fury buff while Righteous Rage is still active. We get one more SP2 off during this 70-second cycle of Righteous Rage, and I find this to be a little bit of a race against the clock and quite a bit of work to do so far about 300k damage. Now I'll go back to the SP3 to reactivate the Righteous Rage, and we should be able to take her the rest of the way down in this next 70-second cycle. We start landing heavies, reducing the combo meter by 10 for each because I want to get the Fury from SP2 right away, which means we need to have the combo meter at 30 or under, because each hit of the SP2 also removes 5 from the combo meter, and that'll put us below 15. So this seems like a lot to keep track of and perform to get the damage benefits from Daredevil's kit, and I wouldn't be opposed to this playstyle if it was more rewarding. As you can see, this took a whopping 244 hits from a 6-star rank 1 to take down a Realm of Legends fight. But let's see how he'll do with a synergy team and on a falter path from 7.2.5. The best synergy I think for Daredevil is with Penny Parker, and this synergy lets you activate Righteous Rage for 8 seconds by crossing that 15 hit barrier and switching from Murdoch Boy to Styx Apprentice modes instead of only being able to access it through SP3. Then She-Hulk gives 20% chance to stun the opponent when throwing specials, which is nice, and also gives plus 800 critical rating on specials, also very nice. Ghost Rider gives an extra 60% duration and potency on the cruelty buffs from the heavies, but now they'll cost 15 hits on the combo meter instead of 10. And then Kingpin gives a 50% chance when blocking to gain a rage debuff, which doesn't actually affect anything, but if you purify it you get 5 extra hits on the combo meter, and if you're above 15 hits on the combo meter it hangs around for 12 seconds and you can get some extra willpower healing from it. So Daredevil's best utility is anti-miss, so this path we're taking has a node called Missing in Action, which will activate a falter on you if you don't land a heavy or special within 3 seconds of a buff expiring on the defender, but we can ignore this since Daredevil can't miss. Now because of the Penny Parker synergy, once we get to 16 hits on the combo meter, we activate an 8-second Righteous Wrath, so we can get rid of some ramp up by avoiding the SP3, and just start with SP2, which I'll throw just before 3 bars of power. I throw the SP2 and my combo meter stays over 16, so the rage debuff will have 12 seconds before converting to the fury buff, and now I race to my SP3 so I can get the long Righteous Rage and start it off with that active fury to take advantage of the extra damage. Now I do a parry heavy into SP3 to get a cruelty buff to go along with the fury. My combo meter got a little higher than I wanted, so I need to land a bunch of heavies to bring it back down to 30 or less before throwing the SP2. The synergy with Ghost Rider will help since each heavy is removing 15 hits instead of 10 now. We do manage to get under 30 on the combo and now have 5 cruelty debuffs when throwing the SP2, and then we get our fury right away after the SP2. I feel like we played that pretty well, but it still ended up taking 150 hits for this takedown. However, we never had to think about falter. I'll do one more fight, and this time we're going to skip the SP3 and just utilize the Penny Parker synergy for Righteous Wrath and see how that does. So we're going to do straight SP2s, and for the first one I'll keep above 15 hits on the combo meter, and then below on the second one, so I can have two Furies active at the same time for longer, and then after that we'll be jumping back and forth between Daredevil's two modes to take advantage of Righteous Wrath from the Penny synergy. We actually get some decent damage here from this SP2, and now we want to cross back over 15 hits for Righteous Wrath. With this strategy, it still took 143 hits, which in my opinion is just too many, especially for jumping through all the hoops required to play Daredevil. I really think that his buff was a fail for a few reasons. First, gimping his regen makes him 100% non-viable with damage masteries. Second, for the long ramp up, the payoff just isn't enough. It seems like they had decent ideas for an interesting kit, but were afraid to let loose on this guy, and as a result, he's very underwhelming to me. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.